it's JC. Welcome to Urban Knife Guy, where we explore the urban lifestyle and jungle survival. Today we're going to talk about essential jungle bushcraft cutting tools, and I thought I'll show you what I have and what I use. First, if you watch this channel regularly but have not subscribed, please do so to help the channel out. And if you'd like to support the channel even more, do check out my shop links in the description below or the pinned comment to check out some really cool and original designs. A tropical jungle is very different from a temperate or boreal forest, so you do need specific tools if you intend to go out to do bushcraft, camping, or even for survival. Of course, there is a bit of overlap in the tools, but I'm going to show you some of the things that I have and some of the things I definitely bring and use all the time. So one of the most important all-purpose cutting tools, in my opinion, is the parang, and I have one over here. It's in the form of the Tops Yakari machete. So it is a machete, although they're really the same thing, just called different things in different parts of the world. But essentially, a parang is a large, broad knife, and this is used for chopping. It's used for clearing trails. It's used for cutting as well. Basically, it's a great all-purpose knife. And if I could only bring one cutting tool, then I would definitely bring the parang. Next up, for me at least, when I engage in bushcraft activity, I'm definitely doing a lot of wood processing, whether it's building stuff for the campsite or making small fires and processing wood. In that case, I always carry a foldable saw in the form of the silky pocket boy, and this goes into my admin pouch on my belt. And of course, you always need to carry a primary fixed blade. So this is my primary fixed blade. It's the Tops Brachimo. It is my belt knife, and I also have my Swiss Army knife camper right here slotted in. So these three here really form my basic three knife system, and I've talked about the three knife system in a previous video which you can check out in the card above or the description below. But definitely this cutting tool, also another part of my system. So this is definitely something I would always carry when I go out. If I'm going out for a very casual hike and I'm not going off trail, I'm going to really a main trail and I know where I'm going, it's going to be a very easy hike, then I might not even bring these two items. I might just bring this belt knife, or I might even just bring a large 111mm Swiss Army knife. But by and large, when I got into the jungle, this is the gear that I bring. Now, if you're in a temperate forest, maybe you won't bring a parang. You might bring a hatchet or an axe, a larger axe for splitting wood, especially if it's in the winter. Now, I do have this Husqvarna 13-inch hatchet. I have used it a bit, but in my opinion, when it comes to a jungle environment, the parang wins the hatchet. It can do what the hatchet does, at least this size hatchet, and I think it can do it even more efficiently and definitely easier in terms of wielding the parang than the hatchet, in my opinion, and this has more purposes. It's more multifunctional, but I can definitely understand if you want to bring a hatchet instead of, let's say, a parang or machete. Now, besides the Swiss Army knife, you might bring another multi-tool like a Leatherman. The Leatherman that I think is great for bushcraft is the rebar. Now, the tools are all on the inside, but it's got a whole variety of tools, and I just think the design, and at least the slim size also, for me, fits very well. And I've talked about this in another video, so I'm not going to repeat that. But I actually bring this out as well. I know it seems like a lot of gear, but this is part of my emergency survival kit, which is in my pack, and these are on my belt. But yes, this is actually what I bring out. Now, instead of a Swiss Army knife or a Leatherman, maybe you like to bring out a folder, such as in the form of something traditional like the Opinel or a slip joint Stockman. This is a 3-bladed knife, or you might bring a more modern folder like this. Personally, I don't bring any of these simply because my system here is more than adequate. But if I really wanted to experiment with a folder, I would probably go with a modern folder, which I can deploy with one hand. I think the Spyderco definitely would be something I'll consider. Probably the Para 2 for outdoors. This is the Para 3, which is smaller. This is more for my urban EDC. I don't bring this out of the jungle, but I'm just showing it for the sake of completeness. And I might also choose actually a cold steel folder. So this one is the Airlight. I won't bring this specific one because I think it's a bit thin. I don't find the ergonomics really nice, although this is great for an urban EDC kit, in my opinion, like an urban survival kit. But I think the cold steel knives, like the ultimate hunter, which is what I'd like to try out one day. Another specialty cutting tool that's good for bushcraft is this. This is the Scotch Eye Auger, and basically it's a hand drill. You can actually use this, take a piece of wood and fit it inside, and you can, in this model, you can actually cut the wood. And the way you do that is use this, which is a very convenient wrap. Put a bigger piece of wood right over here. This is a 1-inch hole. Batten it, and you can basically strip the wood and shape it to form a rod that would fit right in here, and that becomes your handle to twist to drill holes into wood, which is used for making joints for furniture or shelter. You can also drill holes into logs for a Swedish wood stove to drill into the side and the top. At least that's one way to create that stove. So very useful bushcraft tool if you need to drill holes, because there's no real way to do it other than a tool like this. And speaking of holes, if you are looking to drill just a small hole for a paracord or to thread various pieces of wood together, then you can use the awl from your Swiss Army knife. And depending on your model, you would have a awl on the back tool. Some, like the Alox models, have it inline, which means it's in the main tool set over here. And if you have, let's say, the Leatherman, in this case, the rebar, this also has an awl right here. So very useful tool, and I've also used that a bit. So that's why I think, Swiss Army knife like this, at least in this version for me, it's got all the tools I need, including a saw. So there you have it. Those are my essential jungle bushcraft cutting tools. Do you have a similar tool set? Do you own any of the similar knives, saws, or multi-tools? Do let me know your thoughts in the comments below. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you like the content in general, please subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell. Thanks for watching. Talk to you soon.